Yeah, so I think everything kind of starts with the logo, right? So you see the logo mentioned a few times here. You see the coffee name mentioned a few times here, and we wanted to, when a customer goes to this website, we specifically to the homepage, we want them to know that they just went to a coffee website. We don't want to have a bunch of pictures of us doing other things, or not having the branding of what the company actually is right up front. Because if someone's not interested, say they're looking for coffee and they don't see any indication in this picture here that it's a coffee website, then they're going to leave. So what we do is, we really are trying to focus on building a brand. So that's why you see so many instances of the logo there. And we wanted to make it kind of sleek, to where you see kind of one of the products, you see that it's kind of a different packaging. I mean, we went with like a stand-up craft white pouch, which is kind of doesn't really happen a lot in the coffee. I mean, you see a lot of these like gusseted bags, which are kind of like squared off bags that have like little twist tie on it. Those are really common. And then you see kind of some other things that you don't normally see. I mean, the mugs are pretty common, but the beanies, for example, are a little bit different. And then we wanted to, the call to action here is, most most coffee companies, for example, Starbucks, Folgers, Maxwell House, they just focus on creating a cheap, well, not so much Starbucks, but Folgers, Maxwell House, focus on creating a cheap coffee. They just want to push coffee out. They just want to give coffee to regular consumers. But what we did here is, we are focusing only on single origin coffee. So it's like a higher level of quality in terms of coffee. We source all of our coffee from one particular country, and then we use that one particular country's coffee for each one of our roasts. So, for example, this Washington roast here, it comes from Colombia. So every customer, when they go to the homepage, they say, "Hey, this is single origin coffee," and then that leads them to some potential questions, where we have some additional information down on the page here. So if we kind of scroll down some more, you see we have our Instagram kind of embedded. So you see our Instagram feed here. And then we talk about, hey, this is our single origin coffee, right? So we don't want to sacrifice quality. So they get to read a little snippet there. We do everything in small batches, and we touch a little bit on the benefits there. And then we have a few other pictures of some of the things that we do, to just show kind of some brand awareness, and incorporate some of these things into like a household. And that's kind of our homepage here.
So you very clearly not featured your products on the homepage, right? You really made it more of a story, a brand, and like, I mean, it's very clear that you sell coffee, but a lot of stores you'll see things like prices or product images or collections. Can you talk us through that decision? Was it because of like the customer that you had in mind, that you wanted to see more like a premium brand, or was there anything else that you were thinking about?
Yeah. So when we started this, so we don't want to just be known as a coffee company. So our mission statement is to provide top tier coffee to the visionaries of the world, and then share in their accomplishments. So what we mean by that is, not only do we want to create great coffee, that's where the single origin coffee comes in, right? So when a customer drinks this coffee, they have an expectation that it's going to be good, because they equate single origin coffee with good coffee. Now, what we mean by like visionaries of the world is, we want to reach out to people and have a connection and communicate with people that are doing something different. So we're not right now, we're kind of focused on the coffee, building the brand. But as we go into the future, as that brand matures, we want to start focusing more on the customer, and what those customers are doing. Um, we want to share in their accomplishments, right? So that's kind of where the logo comes in. So the idea behind the logo is, you have this. We're in the Washington D.C. area, so there's a lot of like political history there. But you see kind of a crown there, and it's flanked by two like American colonists. And what they're trying to do is essentially like topple the crown. And the premise behind that is, you have this big idea at the time, this way of living, the status quo that exists, and you have this small like little group of people that see the world in a different way, and they're trying to do something to change it. And that's what we kind of want to incentivize people to do in the future, whether it's go out, start a business, whether it's go out and buy their first home, whether it's go and start helping the community. We want to incentivize people to do the things that would make them successful, make them feel good, all while drinking coffee, because coffee is really synonymous with doing anything important. Like if you go to a job interview, you could be drinking coffee and it's socially acceptable. You could buy a house and, as a congratulatory kind of like thing, you go and you drink coffee together. Or if you just want to have a discussion and talk about the future, you could go drink coffee. So it's really socially acceptable. But for right now, we're focusing a lot on the coffee, building the brand, and eventually we're going to shift to more. Hey, now that our coffee's out there, what are you guys doing?